Step 5, Module 5, and this is the last video. We are going to conclude, of course, the same way we started, with traditional network marketing and the way business is done. So what is the 5th step? Again, number 1 is invite, number 2 is present, number 3 is follow up, number 4 is close, and number 5 is train and duplicate. And you may be very good at what you do, and there's a lot of people that are very good at what they do in network marketing, but they are not duplicatable. It is an issue that we encounter often where people are just too good. There may be too good trainers, there may be too knowledgeable, and so they scare their new team members because they look at them and they say, I cannot do what you do. So how do you have a system? How do you have a training? How do you have a process or a strategy in place that is not only good for you, but is also good for your team and, most importantly, is duplicable? Okay, so we know, again, most people, they lack the duplication. They either, and I could give you several examples. Again, most network marketing companies offer very good tools, whether they are video, whether they're brochures, whether they're webcasts, and so on and so forth. But a lot of people do not use them in a systematic way. You know, it's hit and miss all the time. It's what about this? It's what about that? And there's no real consistency. And because of that, although there's a lot of very good tools, and each and every one of them on their own merit actually do work, but it's the ability to put them in a sequence. It's the ability to put them within a certain strategy that makes them effective, and not randomly use one or the other, or depending on the weather or how you feel on that particular on that particular day. And again, I want to come back before we move on because it is so important. What about yourself? Are you duplicable? Is your knowledge too much? Are you too much of an expert so that when your new team members, they look at you and they say, well, I can't do that. So they keep asking you to do presentations to their prospects. They keep asking you to do the training. They keep asking you to do the webcast, the conference call, and so on and so forth. You have made yourself indispensable. You cannot get away from your business anymore. You're doing good, perhaps, but it's because you were there. If you were to take a little bit of a sabbatical, if you were to be away for 3 months, 4 months, a year, what would happen to your business? Would it survive without you? And in many cases, in way too many cases, the answer is no. You are your business, and you remain the catalyst for everything to move, or in the case of you not being there, if you're absent, then that's when everything falls apart in a very short period of time. If that's the case, that means you've got no leverage. If that's the case, that means you do not have real duplication. And the average person could not just follow in your footsteps. So they have to have you part of their operations. There are a lot of variables. Again, from the 5-step that we described, lots of tools, whether provided by your company or whether you do some research on the internet or you buy into some excellent training that are available out there. All of the above, again, they're all very good tools, and that is what makes this industry so attractive. But it's not enough to have the tools, and again, it can even get to a point where it's confusing because there's so many possibilities. It's to try to demystify the process of building an online business with the network marketing business model. And really, again, this is what we're trying so hard to do. We are working so hard to make things as simple as possible. Just on a last note before we move on, we've talked about this very briefly on past videos, and I want to bring it up again. Think of your network marketing business, whether in real life, in person, or even online. Keep thinking of the franchise business model. And the key to success in the franchise industry is that the system is paramount to any customization, to any individual preferences. And that creates consistency, that creates leverage, and this is why the franchise business model is so popular. You have a lot of entrepreneurs that have their own idea. They're very creative. They may be good trainers. They may have all sorts of experience, whether in a related field of expertise or not, And when they open a new franchise, most of that is actually put to the side and they just plug into the existing system of that particular franchise that they've teamed up with. So I would encourage you to do the same thing. It is when we teach people how to actually look for a good network marketing company that would fit their profile, we teach people what to look for so that they can just plug into the system and they feel comfortable with that, as opposed to you pick a company and then all of a sudden you may believe in the products but not in their tools, or you may like their tools but not so much the products, or you may like the products and the tools but you don't like the culture of the company, and so on and so forth. So there are ways whereby you can actually use some sort of a checklist to find a network marketing company that fits your profile, to find a sponsor that fits your profile, to find a team and a culture that fits your profile, so that again, when the going gets tough, you have one more reason to stay because you love everything about the company, even though, you know, you may actually sputter at the beginning and it might be touch and go, touch and go. But if you are with a company, a good product, a good service, a good team, a good sponsor, you can ride the storm. So then we're moving into, again, the traditional way of doing business, into how do you do the training? How do you do the duplication online? And leverage. What is leverage? Is the level of difficulty for duplication. So if you are extremely difficult to duplicate, either because you are too good at what you do or because the tools are too sophisticated or too complex, then it doesn't make it easier for people to duplicate that. So it's the ability to duplicate. One last note about the franchise industry. They never use the best. They will always and only use the best duplicable. So whether it's in the recipes, whether it's in the ingredients, whether it's in the system or whatever, could they have something better? The answer is yes. But if that one thing better cannot be duplicated amongst all of the franchise, then they don't touch it. And so I bring it back to our industry. Network marketing is what you're doing duplicable. And you always have to bring it down to the absolute best common denominator, stuff that people can use. And then if you are able to do that, if you are able to have, in this particular case, an online system whereby it is user-friendly, it is duplicable, then guess what's going to happen? Your team member will be asking you to join your system because they see how efficient it is, but they also see that not only it is a system, but it's a system that actually works. Along the same line, if you are able to achieve leverage because of the ease of duplication, then guess what's going to happen? You are going to start feeling momentum because you've got more people that are teaming up with you and they're actually doing exactly what you are doing. And this is sort of the fundamental to accelerate and to maintain growth, not just for the first few weeks, the first few months, even the first year or 2 years that you're in the business, but it's the best way to get unstuck, to restart the growth of your business if you have been there and you have sort of plateaued, or if you are brand new and you want to make sure that you have some sort of a strategy for sustainable growth, then again, you know that leverage through the ease of duplication is your key to sustainable growth. So the next thing that I want to talk about is how could you even sort of crank it up a notch? How could you sort of go from third gear into overdrive? Way back at the beginning of the training, we talked about how important it was to come up with a profile for your ideal customer, to really spend time to make sure that you knew exactly what you were looking for, because it would make you better at formulating and designing Facebook ad based on this very particular, very focused niche market. So now you've done that successfully. So how do you continue to pick up speed, and how do you continue to increase your growth exponentially? Well, you go back to square one, and although you continue to run your existing campaign, now you come up with a different profile. So for instance, let's say the first time your ideal customer is you were really looking for associates more so than customers. So that particular campaign, the first campaign that you've done, really focuses everything about you're looking for people that are go-getter, you're looking for people that have staying power, you're looking for people that have skin in the game, and so on and so forth. These are not criteria that you would require of a customer. A customer, for instance, again, if you are in the health and wellness business, a customer could be something who is very health focused. It could be somebody who, for instance, has some health issues, some health challenges, and so on and so forth. So you start thinking along those lines and you create a different profile, yet again, for a different type of ideal customer for your business and or for your products. Once you've done that, guess what? Right back to square one. Using that profile, you come up with a very good, very targeted Facebook ad, and then you start tweaking, fine-tuning your autoresponder and possibly your STM messages and so on and so forth. But that is how you do it. So you could have two campaigns, one 100% focused on people that are really ideal associates, if you will, so people that are looking for a business opportunity, and yet concurrently, not necessarily one in lieu of the other, but if you want to go faster, if you want to go higher, you run parallelly or concurrently, you run a second campaign, and this could be, for instance, an ideal customer that is really product focused. You could actually come up with a third and a fourth and a fifth campaign. You could run them concurrently, you could run them one at a time, and so on and so forth. So how do you get to a point where you run 2 or 3 or 4 campaigns? At the beginning, I ask people to reinvest in themselves, to reinvest in their company, to reinvest in their growth. And that is after you've done your first campaign successfully, actually not after, but as you are doing your first campaign and it starts turning a profit for you, you could say, well, it's time to celebrate. Well, I say it's time to accelerate. And so you take those early profits, and this is what you use to fund yet again another campaign. And it might be very tempting again to, at the end of the second campaign, to take the profit and run, or to take the profit and actually to reward yourself. And there's nothing wrong in doing so. But I would suggest if you can at all delay that gratification just a little bit, and again, take those early returns, those early profit, and to reinvest yet into a third campaign, you will quickly get to a point where you've got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 different campaigns all running concurrently, all turning a profit. And now it's time to celebrate, and to celebrate big time. You are looking for a blueprint to build your business online. In fact, you remember the title of this course is 5-Step Network Marketing Online Blueprint. So what is that blueprint? That's the workbook that you've been working with for the last 5 modules. It's all there. And I know you've taken a lot of notes, but it is kept simple. Again, I know everybody knows the KISS principle, K-I-S-S, which is keep it super simple. So again, we try to work, we don't try, we work really hard, wanting to make things simple for you. Could you make this process more complicated? Yes. If you do, will it be duplicable? Well, unlikely. So we've tested, we've designed, we've tweaked this program, this course, so that it's the absolute minimum. It is the simplest way to get your business online and to get going, prospecting and building online, all the way up to doing it full time. For the people who, again, are doing it the traditional way, high five to you guys. I still do. I still enjoy sitting down with people over a cup of coffee and chit-chatting and strategizing and getting people excited. It's in my blood. I will never stop doing that. But again, a word of caution. For the people who are doing only the traditional way, please, times are changing so fast, and sooner than later, you will be left behind. There's no if, there is no but. It's a certainty, because the business model of network marketing is so suited for online businesses that more and more companies are moving that way, because it is both time efficient, cost efficient, but it's also very successful for both the company and their associates in the field. So at the very least, I say keep doing the traditional way if you enjoy it, but make sure that you have a component online to start building, and make sure that that component is actually growing with time, that you just don't keep it as sort of a minimal type of activity. Keep it growing and make it more and more significant in the growth of your business. And last but not least, for you people that are looking to build a business online 100% online, well, now you've got a blueprint to do that. You no longer have to call your friends, to bother your neighbors, to harass your colleagues at work or people at church. You no longer have to do that. You could, with paid advertising on Facebook, you could create an endless source of qualified prospects. So it is a very time and cost efficient way of doing business, and it is a very sustainable way to build and to continue to grow your business online. Okay, so beyond your initial success, and this is why it's getting more and more exciting. It's not just about you, is that really you've come up with something that your team can use. You really have come up with something now that your team can duplicate. You put the system in place. You don't ask them to reinvent the wheel. You put the system in place, and then you just ask them to plug into your system. Now imagine if you did that. Your new associate using your system and duplicating you and your efforts. Imagine that for the first time you've achieved almost 100% duplication. Now imagine further how it will transform their lives in the next 3 to 5 years. Think about how few of these people, if they did duplicate you 100%, think about how few of these people you would need in almost any compensation plan out there for you to start generating a solid recurring 6-figure income. You wouldn't need thousands of people. You would need just a few people because they would all duplicate. Or think about sharing your system with your existing associates. Maybe those that have run into a roadblock, maybe those that have plateaued, maybe those that have sort of run out of people to talk to or got a little bit discouraged, and get them reignited with your brand new system. Think about what it would do for these guys to get unstuck and to start growing again. And of course, if they're growing again, guess what's happening to you? You keep growing faster and faster. Remember to celebrate every small milestone. This is a topic for another day, but I really believe that sometimes we have a tendency to reward and to recognize all the big achievers. But it starts with baby steps. And if you want to have big, powerful achievers, one of the best strategy is any small achievement. You recognize and you make a big deal out of it. On a side note, where would be a good place to recognize them? Well, again, now you've got a fan page or you've got a business page on Facebook, and this would be an excellent place to go and recognize people. Even think about printing a certificate of recognition for a job well done or for a great achievement. And when was the last time that you received something in snail mail? Not in email, not electronically. When was the last time you received something in snail mail? Not often, right? So although the system is totally automated at the beginning and not for too many people, but just for the first 2 or 3 layers of people that you have under you in the system, you might want to print some sort of a certificate that you can easily find online. They're free, and then put their name in there. Put that in snail mail with a stamp on it, and send it to them for congratulations. It is amazing the gratitude that they feel when they are being recognized. Something else that I keep doing, and it's not a big deal, it doesn't take a lot of time, and I don't do it with everybody, but selectively, is I actually pick up the phone and call people. Just a few months ago, one of my top producer, in a very short period of time, she actually made it to the level of Diamond Director in our organization. And on Facebook, I could tell, she got hundreds of congratulation message, and people were cheering for her and all that stuff. I picked up the phone and I called her to recognize her, to congratulate her. And she was almost in tears because she said, you know what, Jermaine? I have received tons of messages, but you are the first person to call me to congratulate me. And I need you to really understand this, is that if you go with those little extra efforts, these are the only thing that I recommend that be done outside the online system, because it will be like a shock wave. It will be like shock therapy for your people. Positive though, not negative. So it will be in a good way, shock therapy. You will blow people out of the water just by doing these small things. And that is how you start creating a legacy, because even those things, snail mail and picking up the phone to congratulate people and to recognize them also on your Facebook business page and fan page, this is how you start creating a legacy, because your leaders are going to start duplicating that, because now it's a simple process. Most of the work, the bulk of the work is being done online. It's being automated. So now they do have the time to actually pick up the phone and put a few certificates in the mail to congratulate their achievers. So we started with this very slide that you're looking at right now. Again, the course, 5-step network marketing online blueprint. And we said, it's like a puzzle. You know, like we're going to try to make it simple. We're going to give you all the pieces of the puzzle, and we have. And then it's important that you focus on the big picture though, because it's almost impossible to put the puzzles together if you don't have the big picture as a reference point. Well, now you do. And this is you on the left. This is you. You know, your system has been in place for a few weeks, a few months, and you are experiencing success and you're excited about it. And the way we're doing it, again, look at this. This is a very simple summary, trying to keep it simple. KISS. So how do you actually end up with an endless source of qualified leads? Now you know it's on Facebook through your fan page or business page, as you are able to engage in paid advertising, but not only just generic advertising, but very targeted advertising. That creates your endless source of qualified leads that you feed into your opt-in page. And again, if you look at the different providers, and there's only 3 there, but there's a ton out there, but we know that these 3 guys, they work, they're reliable, and they're either free or extremely cheap. So I would encourage you, if you want to shortcut your research, to actually look at those guys. If not, then by all means, again, you're welcome to look at any provider that you feel comfortable with. And that is how you design your one-page website. And you will have more than one. You will have one, for instance, for your opt-in page. And then you will have another one-page website for your STM1, and then STM2, and then STM3. And then depending how you do your irresistible offer, you may have another one-page website for that. But again, they're very simple to put together. You've got templates. Do not reinvent the wheel, and keep it very simple at the beginning. So those provider will easily take care of step 2 and 3 of this process. And then, of course, we spoke about autoresponder, ARs. And then we did explain that this was the foundation for the fully automated system. So you no longer have to press the button, you no longer have to be there and to keep track of everybody. The system will do that for you. So again, on the screen, you're looking at some of the excellent email marketing providers, whether it's GetResponse, iContact, Aweber, MailChimp, and so on and so forth. And this is how you take care of step number 3 and step number 4. And then step number 5, training and duplication. By all means, you can go ahead and you can train your team. You can put some sort of a PowerPoint presentation or keynote presentation together. You can get people together in a room, and if you feel comfortable with that, you know, again, high five to you, and we encourage you to do that. But if you want to take the way where you don't have to work hard, you just work smart, just plug people into this system. You've been through it, you know it works, and you want people to learn exactly the same thing you learn. Why? Because then they will duplicate exactly what you are doing. So if you put the people through this system, through this course, then you know that when they come out of it, in just a few hours, they will be thinking exactly the way you are thinking. So let's end with this absolute beautiful picture. Can you get there, and can you get there by doing it online? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. It is cost and time efficient, It is an online business. It is fully automated, 24/7. It is duplicatable, and yes, it is a complete system. You do get an endless source, I'm sorry, endless source of qualified leads because of the Facebook ad, and we got rid of the rejections. We got rid of the no-shows. We have become time efficient. There's no more waste of time, long meetings, never-ending meetings, yeah, or again, no-shows. This is really duplicable, and because it is easily duplicable, then you've just created for the first time through leverage solid recurring income, and time freedom is yours through this online automated system. But again, not just for you and for your team members. So on this note, we want to thank you very much for spending time with us. This information is valuable. You put it to work, and we will see you at the top. Once again, thank you for coming to the Network Marketing Online Academy. We hope to see you soon.